Ай. Всем привет, меня зовут Остин, но с вами Ас. И сегодня я один гуляю через деревню самой. Мне нравится, где у меня время самой, потому что я мог думать о возможностях из моей жизни. И я думаю, что это очень приятно и интересно. Ну, now, сейчас, I will show you the innards of my backpack. First, the ensemble, completely black. Black boots, black t-shirt, black pants, colorful trucker cap from Roatan Island, Guatemala. My dad went there, not me. Too poor. Anyways, give you a quick rundown on this cool back setup. So, London Fog backpack. Free, got it from an ex. I think she felt bad for me when we were breaking up, and she thought I was going to be homeless, and I wasn't exactly homeless, but I guess like I may as well have been in some certain stretches of that. Now, the rest I'll get into now. This is simply just an extra layer. It was colder when I began this journey, so there's a hoodie that's folded over this stick. The story of this stick. Now, when I was poor and my car broke down and I was not financially able to pay for the repairs or the parts to do the repair myself, I spent several months walking the streets of a sort of hood, sort of not hood town called Michigan City, Indiana. It was violent, but it was more dangerous because it was a smaller city, so like everybody really knew each other, and it could get to a sticky situation really quick. I could tell you stories like I was smoking a joint one day on my day, like I just got home from work, 30 minutes later, I just hear a fucking shootout. 17-year-old kid kills a 23-year-old man over a fucking girl. And it's shit like that, and shit like what happened to me, like my third or second day walking alone in Michigan City. I got cornered by 6 men that if my previous drug addict self would have to diagnose someone, they were definitely on some type of benzos. I'm gonna definitely say probably fucking Xanax. And I said I'll never be like that mortified and victimized again. I wasn't attacked or nothing, but I got surrounded really quickly by a bunch of guys that were like sidewalking like this, and one of them had a bag, and it was a box with this razor in it. And I know it was a fresh razor that they just stole from the Walgreens pharmacy that I just was coming home from myself. So I said I need to find some cheap way to improvise to defend myself. One that might not get me into trouble to the point where I'm like going to court because I stabbed someone to death, because I really do think if I was like provoked, I would probably try to kill someone, like in that sense. So I started carrying around like sticks in this loop for the arm straps. And, the gist is pretty basic. It may as well just be kind of like a ghetto bow staff. I sling it out and bam. And that's when I basically beat the fucking shit out of any homeless man, woman, child, or animal that's trying to kill me. Inside my bag, I just have various sources of sugar, Gridlock energy drink, which is Aldi's brand of Monster, an RX Energy from Arizona Tea, and a platter of salami, and some type of smoked cheese, just in case I get hungry out here. I am building up a little bit of a sweat. Perhaps I should have wore shorts, but I'm not stupid. I know as soon as this like warm surge happens, the ticks are gonna come crawling out of the fucking grass like no one's business, bro. I'm gonna start heading this way and walking and talking because I kind of purposely hid back here for a little bit to give like a party or two that were disc golfing some time to kind of, you know, blah 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 blah, get ahead of me. And that's kind of like the secret coexistence of disc golfers and hikers, because I think us hikers often use their disc golf courses as a double for trails for ourselves. I'm gonna try to see where the rest of this might lead to. As you can see down there, the river begins. Well, I could take you down here. This is a pretty interesting place before we begin the topic of our video. I know I look a little goofy saying all this with this type of attire on, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you look like. You know, it doesn't matter what you look like. All that matters is your message and your energy, right? Alrighty, so here is a dilapidated little shack. I think this probably at one point was like a boat dock, or maybe like a rudimentary type of boat house. I'm not really sure. I could be completely off on that as well. Could just be a shack by the fucking river. I don't really know. As you can tell, it's definitely dilapidated. It's seen better days. Now look, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind a lot lately, because I keep seeing people from my past, not my own past, but people that I used to view in the past, and they've come out and they've renounced and done the same thing. And here's the thing, I am a mystic. I won't lie. I definitely have mystical beliefs. I don't really think I'm ever going to be able to relinquish those. But I do recognize the difference between good and evil, you know. And that's my problem. A lot of these, like, occult practitioners, they try to, like, justify horrible actions by saying, like, well, you know, the world's a gray place, and if someone's really messing with you like that, you know, you have every right to relieve yourselves. And, you know, maybe you're right on some level. But for some reason, for me, it just seems so wrong and selfish and self-motivated, and something that will always easily lend itself to some type of corruption. Whether it's real or not, at the end of the day, I think the occult does have effects on people's minds, whether real or not. Because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If someone believes something, they believe something, you know? You could say, you know, casting spells and stuff, that's bullshit. That person's not going to care. The person's not going to care what you say. They're already invested. They already got their life going on. You know, they're not trying to be like, I see the disc golfer. So I'm going to start hiking back, probably hike around the boardwalk and wrap this video up. But I've seen, you know, to make things short, I have my own nuanced views. But I think at the end of the day, I'm ready to kind of just like come out and say that pretty confident I have surrendered myself to deism. And I'm not going to try to pretend that I know what created me, or if I was created intentionally, or whatever. But at the end of the day, to me, it smells so good through here, guys. It smells like vanilla chai, like spice tea right now. It's amazing. Some type of flower is very fragrant, and the wind's carrying it right into my nose. But yeah, you know, I still differentiate between good and evil. And I think there's something at its core. It's just really messed up and wrong to try to like manipulate the outcomes of the universe to your favor. You know, whether you have good intentions or not. I personally feel like that's really, really negative energy that you're harboring. And it'll eventually turn on you, you know. I bring this up. I brought this up a few other times in videos. But in Islam, there's like this concept, al-fitna, which basically means the test or the exam. I gotta drink some water real quick, y'all. Enjoy the beauty pine trees. Oh, I almost took my toe out. Hook back up. Ugh. All right. That's the thing. You know, I call myself a deist now. I don't know what made me. I don't know if it intentionally made me. I don't even know if it cares that I exist or not. I really don't care if it cares if I exist or not. I'm just trying. Oh, there's that vanilla chai smell again, baby. I'm just interested in doing good works in this life. You know, I'm interested in doing good works in this life. I don't necessarily really care about fame or fortune or really even having a middle class amount of money at this point. I'm just not interested. And I feel like I've left this life like years ago, you know. Like I was 25 and I saw that I just wasn't happy, like chasing money and shit and trying to do all these spells with my ex-wife to make more money and shit, that none of this shit mattered. You'll find at the end of your occult journey with the left-hand path, you'll find one thing. You'll find that it wasn't fulfilling, and I promise you that you'll find that it's not fulfilling. And bless your fucking heart if you start working with the demons. Because here's the thing, man. They don't care about your fucking soul. They really do not care about your soul, brother. What they care about is the tangible things that they don't have. The days you have on this earth. The ability to physically move around in this space and interact with it fully. The ability to engage in all types of narcotics and alcohol. Just any worldly, perhaps vices that they would not have access to in their realm. And most of all, your time. You know, and not to air out business, but when somebody told me that they want your time, I thought about time, the aspect of time and all of its gloriness. And I realized that gold is very valuable, but time is the gold of human life. You can never make more of it. You can never get it back. You got to use it as wisely as you possibly can. And with that being said, I took that and the extreme consideration. And I felt a deep sense of identification with that statement. And I remember one night, so I was helping my friend do something, and it didn't really go as planned, and suffice to say, it could have been dealt a lot differently, right? And it could have been done like a lot quicker. And I'd worked to 12, and I just kind of felt like my entire time got pissed away. So, I kind of was simpering and angry about it for a couple of days. And then he comes to me and he's like, hey man, I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what you're upset about, but I'm sorry that I did it. And, I laid out everything kind of like how I laid it out here, but a lot more in depth because, the details were fresher at the time. I said, hey man, like, if that's how you want to spend your time, that's fine, bro. But I just feel like you didn't respect my time, and he said, when I put it like that, I changed his view on it too. And that was all within a week. I didn't even think about that till the week prior. I said, wow. And that's what those dark forces want, man. They want your time. Now, I talk about this guy a lot. I talk about this guy an extreme bit. Well, I have in the past. Not so much anymore. Maybe more in like a personal sense. But I haven't really in a long time, right? But I used to look up to this guy. Self-ascribed occultist. And keep in mind, this was back in like 15 years ago, and he wasn't like a fucking toothless alcoholic guy that was out of touch with reality. I'm gonna walk around the field here, change up the terrain a little bit. And for years and years and years, he claims to have had this meeting, kind of like once in a lifetime meeting with this, what he had identified as like a demon from the Ars Goetia, or Gosha, which is basically like a owl hybrid humanoid demon named Stolas. And he basically had started like giving his life and like dedicating and working with Stolas. And you could tell at the beginning of this long burnout that he really thought, he was moving shit. He was making stuff happen, He was casting upon this demon, and he was using them to kill people and torture people, and he became a depraved man. And like I said in the beginning of this, it doesn't really matter if it's real or not. He's invested in it. He believes it. So it really doesn't matter, bro. You get to see the psychology of somebody, what that person would do if they did have those powers. And that's what I said a year ago. He made some stupid video when he was still going through a court proceeding in Louisiana that he had performed a curse that had killed the Attorney General of Louisiana. Like, that's a real good look, bro. And he's dancing around, and and this is what happens, you get into all these entanglements with quite literally unstable people. And now look at him, bro. I mean, he's been a drunk for years at this point. And now he's missing a tooth. And now he doesn't even make fucking sense anymore. This guy used to sound so smart, but I think now really what happened is I just kind of grew up and realized that the guy was a midwit that knew a lot of fucking words and how to describe something. Because, that's another thing you can say too, is like, who the fuck is this guy? He doesn't like contribute anything to the society he's living in. And he's going around like trying to tell you how to live your life. It's like, bro, you're in no place. You are in no place to give any self-help advice. whatever fucked up universe you're living in, not the one we're living in, bud. And that's what I'm saying, you know? These people, they try to introduce you to these arcane, dark, black arts. I think the only thing it did was brought me closer to the light. I don't need to be around all these fucking negative Nancy's, bro. All these people don't want to feast off horrible emotions and do all these self-aggrandizing rituals to get what they want. Ugh. It sounds fucking horrific. And I'm just not for it. I think you're really, really weak, in my eyes, if you have to cast some type of spell, you know, to do something to me or my family or whatever. Might as well just knock on my door and tell me you don't like me, you know? That's different. At least I respect you then. It's not like you're trying to use some universal hand to stab me in the back. So no, I mean, I don't hate magic practitioners. I don't necessarily enjoy them. I won't lie, some of them I kind of be looking down on. Because I think they're either A, like predatory people, or B, predatory people in a lucrative sense that they just want to make as much money and squeeze as much money out of their patrons as possible, right? I think we'll do one pass down the boat ramp road, kind of go check out what's going on down there. I didn't get to go all the way down there because fucking people are down there. They always look at me weird when I'm fucking ranting to the camera so passionately. Yeah, look, you know, I look like someone that does not believe in a higher power. Trust me, I know. But let me tell you something. This is really more for religious observation purposes, as Jews typically have to be dressed in head to toe in black. I do not have a white shirt to put on, so I had to just make do with something that had white on it. It's a beautiful place, you know. Trying to make this place unbeautiful with their spiritual warfare. Trying to convince you on some idolized perversion of a philosophy. Trying to sell you on some horribly mistranslated version of a philosophy. And then on the other side, you have people giving your hands to demons. And look at all these demon practitioners. They're not even happy with their life. They're not happy with their life. The wind's coming in from the lake really hard. Everybody, I'm trying to find the direction. I think it's about right here so I can cut off the wind. They're not happy with their life, man. They look at everything as like a material type of transactional thing. That's sad. It's more to life. I don't know. Here's my long meandering rant. Remember to be utilitarian and not a hedonist. Because I guarantee you, like I said before, well, I said a left-hand path will get you a life of unfulfilling things. But really, a hedonistic life will lead you to depression like no other. What's fulfilling about having everything you ever wanted? There's no commitment in that. There's no struggle in that. You don't have to build something with someone. There's no beauty in it. So you're telling me, it's strange to me, right? Some people would rather just cast a spell and find someone. I'd rather just walk through here for hours through life, and just one day I'll meet someone that I jive with. And I'm not looking to fucking materialize them out of thin air. People don't really understand what they're fucking with half the time. These powers and privileges, really. And really, we're just really blessed with the knowledge of what they are. It's not even like we can accurately wield them half the time. I had to buy a kayak so I can launch off of shit like this and make videos on a kayak instead of a trail every once in a while. Yeah. This is the boat dock. This is where you put your boat. You slide it out into the water, man. I want to walk over there, but the tall grasses and the temp it is right now, I have a serious feeling that I'm gonna get fucking chewed up by ticks if I go through there. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna head off to my car. Honestly, I'm gonna sit here real quick, eat some salami. That was a good walk and talk. Thanks for letting me talk to you for 27 minutes. Peace the mother fuck out. 80 or 9, 27.